सर सुरू करायचं, जॉईन होत राहतील मग. जेजूरकर सर.
Oh, yes, yes, we can start.
ओके. So, good morning and welcome to day 6, session 1. Our today's expert is Dr. Chandrakant Jejurkar sir. Sir is currently working as a professor and Dean Student Development in Sanjeevani College of Engineering, Kopargaon. He completed graduation in Civil Engineering from SPPU, Pune. He obtained master's degree from AGGS IENT, Nanded, and also completed his PhD from same institute. He has teaching experience of 25 years and his area of expertise are hydrology, remote sensing and GIS, artificial neural network, water resource engineering. He has published more than 20 papers in reputed journal and international conferences. He has also completed a research project funded by BCUD. He is associated with various professional associations and society. He is life member of Indian Water Resource Society, life member of Institution of Engineers, life member of Indian Association of Hydrologists, life member of Indian Society of Technical Education. With this brief info, I request Dr. Jejurkar sir to take over the charge.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Nilavar, for a brief introduction. So, firstly, good morning to one and all. I am very much thankful to Dr. Vaikar sir, Dr. Nilavar sir, and the Civil Engineering Department of SGGS IENT Nanded for giving me opportunity as a resource person in this FDP. Nilavar sir, shall I share the screen?
Yes, sir, sure, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Hope screen is visible.
Yes, sir, fine, sir.
Yeah. I am also audible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, firstly, I congratulate to Civil Engineering Department and coordinator Dr. Vaikar sir, Dr. Nilavar sir for selecting such a wonderful theme, recent trends in water engineering. Really, the need of our hour is water or day. So this theme is really a very, very interesting theme. Under this theme, I welcome to all the delegates. Most of the delegates are familiar with me, so it's good for me. So as a part of this FDP, I will be talking about modeling the infiltration process. The topic for today's presentation is modeling the infiltration process. So firstly, I would like to brief about outline of the presentation, because if I won't present the outline, in that case there may be confusion regarding the work, because I have carried out the work in different stages. I had a field experimentation, then I had done modeling with the help of two models. Again, I have applied artificial neural network, and now I am working on simulator also. And that's why the outline of my presentation is introduction to infiltration, objectives of the study, field determination of infiltration, soil property studied, infiltration models, comparison of field measured and model estimated infiltrations, an application in infiltration, and it will be supplemented with the conclusion, and I will be touching to simulator M-type permits. This is the outline of my presentation. So the theme is a recent trends in water engineering. It is said that a drop of water is worth more than a sack of gold to a thirsty man. Water is the basic necessity of the human being, and the source of water is precipitation or rainfall. It is the primary source of fresh water. This is the commodity which cannot be generated, which cannot be manufactured. And that's why we have to utilize it very optimistically. In the Bhagavad Gita also, it is specified that water is scarce and we have to use it optimistically. And hydraulic cycle is of prime importance in this process. Here, I have shown one quote: knowledge is the eye of desire and can become the pilot of the soul, which is stated by Will Durant. So intentionally, I had quoted this quote here: knowledge is the eye of desire and can become the pilot of the soul. So whenever the delegates used to attend this type of FDPs or STTBs, their thirst is to search for a problem for their research work. So here, knowledge is the eye of desire. So if you are having the knowledge, definitely you can look for, you will be having desire to become a pilot of the soul. Means you can have, the things may touch to you, the things may click to you, so that you will get the problem statement, or you can have a research problem and you can work on that research problem. Now coming to concept of infiltration. So infiltration is the process of water entry from surface sources such as rainfall, snow melt, or irrigation into the soil surface. Infiltration is the process of water. It is the downward movement of water into the earth or into the earth crust. And definitely it starts from the hydraulic cycle. In most of the lecture sessions, touch is given to hydraulic cycle because it is the major source of water. Due to this, there will be precipitation. So here also I will be talking about hydraulic cycle. In the first session itself, Dr. Dai has explained regarding this hydraulic cycle. Even he has touched brief about this infiltration also. Till then, I would like to talk about this hydraulic cycle. So here, hydraulic cycle always it begins from the oceans or surfaces of various types of ponds or reservoirs, or you can say collection tanks. There will be evaporation, transpiration from use of the trees, right? And it will goes to the higher and higher. There will be condensation, there will be formation of the clouds, and in turn, after bursting of the cloud, there will be precipitation. So when this precipitation occurs, in that case, each and every part of the precipitation will not reach on the earth surface, because there will be various types of obstructions also. So when precipitation occurs, some of the part of this precipitation, it will get intercepted due to the foliage of trees, due to the foliage of greenery, leaves of the greeneries. Some of the part is required to fill up the gullies, or you can say ponds, which are present on the earth surface, and then some of the part will get infiltrated into the ground, and if in excess, that will flow on the surface of the earth in terms of runoff. Some of the part will become base flow also, right? And again, this cycle will get continued. So in this presentation, we'll be talking about infiltration in detail. So this is the flow diagram or the catchment already I have discussed. Along with the hydraulic cycle, precipitation will be there. After this precipitation, there will be interception. Then there will be stream flow, surface storage will be there. Out of this surface storage, some part will become soil water storage. It may go to vegetation, transpiration may be there, and then from this surface storage, there will be infiltration. And afterward, there will be surface flow, then soil water storage will be there, and due to this soil water storage, there is development of the through flow. And when it reaches to a greater depth, in that case, it is called as a percolation. So infiltration occurs within the crust of the earth, and when it shifts to a greater depth, or you can say when it becomes a part of groundwater storage, in that case, it is called as a percolation. Out of this groundwater, sometimes the base flow, it may intercept to ground surface at any place, and again it will become the part of runoff, and in turn you can say river runoff. Now, this infiltration, it was first clicked to a Horton. Robert E. Horton, he is an American geologist, and while studying or while observing the soaking of water into the soil, He had put forth the concept of this infiltration first in 1935. So already I had discussed regarding this percolation. So necessity of infiltration study. Why to study this infiltration at all? Soil can be an exceptional medium of temporary storage of water depending on the soil type and its condition. The infiltration characteristics play important role in the planning, designing and management of various hydraulic structures. Infiltration study may help for watershed management. It is also useful for soil erosion control, for proper irrigation planning. That the runoff prediction plays a vital role in water resources projects. The accurate estimation of runoff is related with infiltration. So infiltration is a very important. So at a glance, it seems to be a very small thing. Infiltration seems to be, but infiltration, this has appealed lot many hydrologists, and nowadays lot many hydrologists are working on this infiltration in one or other way. This infiltration, it is the cause for temporary storage of water into the earth. It is useful for planning, designing and management of various hydraulic projects, because once you know the infiltration, directly you can say if precipitation occurs, some of the part will get infiltrated. If you won't think about the obstructions, then rest of the part will become runoff. Directly you can say precipitation minus infiltration will give you runoff. And once you know the runoff, this runoff, it is very useful for planning, designing and management of different types of hydraulic structure. As a hydrologist, water resource engineer, while dealing with the students, always we used to explain for design of any hydraulic structure, last 30 to 35 years data is required. The reason is that the natural cycle occurs after 30 to 35 years. There is a repetition. The severity may be different. Severity may be different. So recently, that Tauktae storm has been occurred, right? And if you have observed the news on the TV, watched the news on TV, that it was told that in 1961, such a thing was happened. Such incidents was happened, due to which on Raigad there was a water. And again in 2021, the same thing has been repeated. So you can, if you count the period 1960 to 2021, it takes about 60 years. So you can say 2 cycles has been occurred, right? So from this hydrology point of view, the study of this infiltration, in turn you can say runoff is very important. It is also useful in the watershed management, as rightly explained by the Dr. Dai while discussing about this water hydrology. It is useful for erosion study as well as in the irrigation planning also, because from the infiltration one gets idea regarding the depth of the irrigation, so we can plan the irrigation scheduling also. And that's why we have to study regarding this infiltration. Moving forward, objectives of the study: to evaluate the infiltration capacity of soil and reliability of infiltration test using double ring infiltrometer. Friends, for your kind information, since last decade I am working on this infiltration, and till date I had observed more than 500 observations in the field. I am not using anyone's data. My data is self-generated data, right? So here I am stating the objectives, considering the today's presentation only, to evaluate the infiltration capacity of the soil and reliability of infiltration test using double ring infiltrometer, to study the validity of Costico and modified Costico infiltration models under existing land cover conditions, to evaluate the infiltration model parameters of Costico and modified Costico using field data, to employ artificial neural network to determine Costico model parameters to compare field measure cumulative infiltration with model estimated and ANN predicted values. So if you look into these objectives of the study, so here my first objective is to evaluate the infiltration test in the field. Means I have to carry out the field test, and then from this test to determine the Kushtico and modified Kushtico infiltration model parameters and to find out the infiltration, to evaluate the infiltration model parameters, to employ artificial environment. So work is carried out in 3 stages. So two technical terms I would like to explain here. Infiltration capacity, the maximum rate at which soil can absorb the water is known as infiltration capacity. Field capacity, the volume of water that the soil can hold is known as field capacity. So here infiltration capacity is nothing but it is the rate by which water is absorbed by the soil, and it is the maximum rate. And field capacity is how much water the soil can hold. So it is related with the volume and this is related with the infiltration rate. Moving forward, factors affecting infiltration. So while studying this infiltration, one should know what may be the various factors which may affect the infiltration, and then we can come to a accurate estimation of infiltration. Unless and otherwise we correlate all these parameters, we cannot have accurate estimation of infiltration. In turn, you can say runoff also. So very first is initial moisture content, temperature, intensity of rainfall, quality of water, soil texture and structure, organic matter, pores, land cover, compaction. These are the few parameters stated here. I shall explain few parameters out of this. So initial moisture content. Initial rate of infiltration depends on initial moisture condition of the soil. When soil moisture is high, infiltration rate is low, and soil moisture is low, infiltration rate is high. So this infiltration rate, it depends upon initial moisture content. So initially, if soil is holding the moisture, sufficient amount of moisture, in that case, the thirst will be less. So obviously, infiltration rate will be slow. And if soil moisture is low, in that case, infiltration rate will be high. Temperature, viscosity of water changes with temperature. Increase in temperature causes reduction in viscosity. So infiltration is higher when temperature is high. So it is directly proportional. If temperature is high, infiltration rate will be higher because the water absorption capacity of the soil, it will be more in that case. Then coming to next, intensity of rainfall. High intensity rainfall causes mechanical compaction of soil. So heavy intensity rainfall cause less infiltration. Lesser intensity rainfall cause higher infiltration. So this intensity of rainfall, it is also very, very important. So if we observe when heavy precipitation is there, then there will be early development of the runoff. Early development of the runoff, amount of runoff will be also more. The reason is that in case of this intensity of rainfall, high intensity rainfall causes mechanical compaction. When intensity of rainfall is more, in that case, there will be beating action of the soil. So if you observe in the land, in the open area, so definitely you will find small potholes will get developed due to the drops of water, and there will be splashing of the stains of soil. So there will be beating action of the soil, and if this type of beating action of the soil is there, there will be clogging of the pores in the earth surface, and definitely it will reduce the infiltration rate. Right? So in case of high intensity rainfall, mechanical compaction of soil will be there, and in case of this heavy intensity rainfall, infiltration rate will be less. So if intensity is more, infiltration rate will be less, and vice versa. Moving forward, quality of water. The quality of water is also very, very important. If quality water is of good quality, if potable water is there, clean water is there, so obviously infiltration rate will be more. So if it is containing some organic matter, maybe silts and other impurities, in that case, it will reduce the infiltration rate. In case of muddy water also, infiltration rate will be less as it is containing small particles, colloidal particles also, and in that case, it will reduce the infiltration rate. Compaction. So compaction, it is also having a major effect on infiltration rate, as we are talking about the farm only. In case of farming, so I am talking about movement of men and animals which are required in the field or in the farm. So due to this movement of men and animals, there will be compaction of the soil. And if we try to determine the infiltration rate in that area, so obviously the infiltration rate will be very, very less. Moving forward, factors affecting infiltration. Under this, again, next is soil texture and structure. So this soil texture, it is also having major effect on the infiltration rate. So texture, it depends upon the particle size. Texture dictates upon the particle size. So in case of clay, if the texture of the soil is clay, finer particles are there. So here you can see in the plot, infiltration rate is less. In case of coastal particles like sand, infiltration rate is high. So it also depends upon the texture, particle size of the soil. Structure is also very, very important. In case of a square textured soil, infiltration rate will be more. And in case of rhombic structure, as particles will be more compacted, and in that case, infiltration rate will be. Again, we'll talk about the particle size. So here you can see the structure. Around particles, here more space will be there, higher porosity and more infiltration. In case of angular particles, less pore space, less porosity, and obviously there will be less infiltration. Now, in case of any research, always assumptions are there. So similar to it, there are some assumptions in the infiltration study. The infiltration capacity of soil is highest at the very beginning of a storm or irrigation and decreases with time. The moisture content of the soil, whether it is initially or still wet from a recent storm, will have a great effect on the infiltration capacity of certain soils. Soil profile existing in the field is treated as a homogeneous. Infiltration may last for longer time periods. This assumption is very, very important, because already said that within 2 to 3 hours we can get the result of infiltration. But during my observations, it takes couple of hours to become constant, because in case of infiltration, we have to stop our observations when infiltration rate becomes constant. How it becomes constant and where to stop, that we shall discuss while discussing the observation table in detail. Now, these are the existing infiltration models. So very first is Greenamt model, then Kostico model, Horton's model, Phillips model, SCS model, modified Kostico model, Smith-Parlange model, and revised modified Kostico model. These are the various models, and out of these models, I had worked on this Kostico model, then modified Kostico model, as well as the Horton model. So coming to study area, in fact, since last decade, I am working in Kopargaon region, and this case study, whatever case study I am presenting in front of you, or for today's presentation, it is related with the village Brahmangaon. It comes under Kopargaon Taluka. And in case of the study area, the temperature variation is 20 degrees centigrade to 40 degrees centigrade, minimum 20 degree, maximum 40 degrees centigrade, and average annual rainfall which is observed, it is about 480 mm, because it comes under rain shadow zone. So this amount is not as such predominant. And most of the part of Kopargaon is underlain by the basalt. In this complete Ahmednagar district, basalt is predominant. Soil in the investigational area is a clay soil. It is a clay soil, and locally this soil is called as black cotton soil. In Rajasthan also, the clay soil is called as black cotton soil. This is also called as a deep soil. This is also called as a deep soil. So in case of this Kopargaon region, the depth of this clay soil is 25 to 30 feet. It is around 25 feet. Deep soil is there. Agriculture Organization FAO and USDA taxonomy, this type of soil comes under vertisols as per FAO. Food and Agriculture Organization, this soil is called as vertisols. And this type of soil is highly susceptible to swelling and shrinkage as this soil is predominant in Montmorillonite. So in case of this vertisol, the major difficulty is that when it dries, it shrinks a lot, and when it comes in contact with water, it becomes moist. In that case, it swells. And the reason is that it is predominant of Montmorillonite element. This is the location map of study area, Brahmangaon. This is the Google map. Now, methods of infiltration study. How to determine the infiltration in the field. So, in the field, different techniques are there for determination of the infiltration rate. So, mainly there are two types of infiltrometer, single ring infiltrometer and double ring infiltrometer. These are used for determination of infiltration in the field. So, coming to this single ring infiltrometer. Coming to this single ring infiltrometer, as its name suggests, it is consisting of only one ring, which is called as a single ring. So diameter of this single ring is 30 centimeter and depth is 25 centimeter. So this is used for determination of infiltration in the field. How it is determined, that we shall discuss while discussing the double ring infiltrometer. So here the difficulty with this single, normally the single ring is not used for determination of infiltration in the field. The reason is that because in case of this single ring, there is a possibility of lateral flow, lateral movement of water will be there. As per our definition or concept behind this infiltration is nothing but it is the downward movement of water. So in case of this, there is a possibility of lateral movement also. So normally for getting accurate estimation of infiltration, single ring infiltrometer is not preferred. Now coming to double ring infiltrometer. So it consists of two concentric rings. This is the inner ring and this is the outer ring. So normally or most of the times this double ring infiltrometer is used for determination of infiltration in the field. So here in case of this, the inner diameter of inner ring is 30 centimeter, depth is 25 centimeter. The diameter of this outer ring is 60 centimeter and depth is 25 centimeter. For determination of the infiltration in the field, these are installed in the field. How this process? See, infiltration test procedure. So very first, level the ground and drive the inner ring into the ground to a depth of 12 centimeter. Level the ground means you won't have to level it with any sort of operate, because the natural condition of the soil, natural structure, you should not get disturbed. So roughly with the hand, without any type of tools, one has to level the ground, and then this inner ring first. So when I work initially, I work on this infiltration. At that time, before 10 years ago, I had fabricated this infiltrometer for my infiltration purpose, and recently now I have purchased this infiltrometer, double ring infiltrometer. I have purchased for my future study. Presently, I am working on this double ring infiltrometer. So very first ground is, you can say, level, approximately level, and then this inner ring, it is inserted into the ground with the help of driving plate. So here you can see this type of plate is there, which is used to drive this inner ring into the ground. So very first, this inner ring, it is properly placed where one has to take the observation, and then it is inserted into the ground to a depth of 10 to 12 centimeter with the help of driving plate and hammer. Driving plate will be kept here, and then it is hammered so that it will get inserted to a depth of 10 to 12 centimeter. Then second ring, concentrically it is kept, this outer ring, and then with the help of this driving plate and hammer, it is inserted to the same level of inner ring. It is inserted to the same level of, drive the outer cylinder concentrate to the same depth. Then this type of hook gauge, for taking the reading, this type of hook gauge is fixed to a certain depth. Normally, depth of water inside this inner ring and outer ring, it is kept 10 to 12 centimeters. So prior to pouring the water, both these rings are covered with the help of plastic paper, and then water is poured on this paper so that the water will not become muddy. At the same time, unless and until we start the observation, there will not be infiltration, right? So smoothly those papers are removed, and when papers are removed, initially the water surface, this point is touching to the water surface, then water will start penetrating. The time is recorded, observations are recorded as the gauge is adjusted. Then immediately after taking the reading, add measured quantity, sufficient quantity of water. It is measured and it is added, so that again the initial level will equals to the next level will be equals to the initial level, means this pointer is touching to the water surface. Now this complete process is repeated, still the infiltration rate becomes constant, right? Now, for my study till date, I have used Kostyko model, modified Kostyko. Even I have worked on Horton model also in my PG project itself. So the expression for this Kostyko model is y equals to, or sometimes y suffix c is used, y suffix c equals to a into t to the power b. Here a and b, these are the model parameters, and these are the soil constant related to the soil. Modified Kostyko, y equals to a t to the power b plus c, and here a, b and c, these are the constant. A, b, c, soil constant. C is normally called as a decay constant. In case of Horton model, the expression is given as f suffix p equals to f suffix c plus in bracket f0 minus f suffix c bracket complete e to the power minus kt, and here K, F0, Fc, these are the constants which are required to be determined from the field data. So coming to this Kostyko infiltration model, the basic expression for this Kostyko infiltration model is given as y suffix c equals to a into t to the power b. So here Yc is nothing but it is the cumulative infiltration, or you can say accumulated precipitation, always in terms of centimeter. T is the time in minutes, and A and B, these are the parameters. So for determination of this A and B from the field data, different methods are used, analytical methods are used, graphical methods are used. For determination of these parameters A and B, I have used analytic method mainly. And if anybody is interested, you can have one practical manual which is available in the Valmi. In the Valmi, one practical model is there, manual is there, and in that the complete procedure is explained in detail for determination of these constants A and B. So this A and B, this can be determined by forming the equations. For that purpose, we have to convert this expression in terms of log y equals to log A plus B log T, and then whatever observations we have got from the field for this Yc and T, these are substituted here, and then we have to divide the equations into 50% equations, and then we have to form two equations, and then we have to obtain this A and B from the field data. Similarly, in case of this modified Kostyko model, the equation is Yc equals to A t to the power b plus c. Here in case of this A and B, these are determined similar to Kostyko model, and this c, this is soil decay constant. So it is normally determined by the Davis method. This is determined with the help of Davis method. That is also explained in that manual. If you are interested, you can have that manual and very easily you can determine. But for that purpose, we have to collect the field data. For determination of the C, we have to plot the plot of log y versus T, and then we have to select any two times T1, T2 and corresponding YC, Y1, Y2, and then T3 can be determined. So T3 is equals to square root of T1 into T2, and then Y3 will be corresponding to this T3, and then we can determine this C. One more expression is there for determination of this C also. Now While determining this infiltration for accurate estimation, if you determine the infiltration in the field, you will get it, accurate estimation will be there. But in addition to this, we should study various physical properties of the soil which may directly or indirectly affect the infiltration. So in this study, in this case study, I have studied moisture content, bulk density and dry density, mainly bulk density of the soil, particle size distribution, electrical conductivity, field capacity and permanent wilting point. So these parameters along with I have studied in the field. So prior to starting the infiltration, we have to study these soil parameters. We have to study the soil parameters, that is moisture content. We have to study the bulk density also, because bulk density, it dictates upon the compaction of soil. Bulk density, it depends upon the compaction of the soil. Pore spaces provide a more useful physical description of the soil, and soil bulk density is a measure of soil compaction as well as its strength. So from this, we get idea regarding the deviation in the infiltration. For that purpose, if it is less, if it is more, why it is there, that we have to study, or we can analyze with the help of this density of the soil, that to bulk density. Then particle size distribution, that is determined by the hydrometer method using the Stokes law, which is basis for it. And then electrical conductivity. So this electrical conductivity tester meter I have purchased at that time for testing of this electrical conductivity. So this soil electrical conductivity is an indirect measurement that correlates very well with several soil properties and chemical properties. So this electrical conductivity, it works on the cations and anions, and this is very, very important. Electric conductivity has been used to assess soil salinity, right? And this electrical conductivity, in case of finer particle soil, in case of clay soil, the electrical conductivity is high, and in case of sandy soil, the electrical conductivity is less. So this electrical conductivity, so obviously it dictates upon the electric conductivity, it dictates upon the infiltration. So for in the determination of infiltration, it is having a lot of effect, because as electrical conductivity is high, the soil is a clay soil, so obviously infiltration rate will be less. If infiltration rate is slow, or you can say less, in that case infiltration capacity will be more. And if it is less, in that case there will be sandy soil, you can say there is a predominance of sandy soil, so obvious infiltration rate will be more. So for determination of this electrical conductivity with the help of this tester or with the help of this meter, we have to take the soil sample 1:5, 1 part of soil sample and 5 parts of water. We have to stir it, and then it can be determined. For determination of field capacity and wilting point, this apparatus is used, which is called as a pressure plate apparatus. So this test I had carried out from one lab. In case of this pressure plate apparatus, normally compressor is there, and here 20 bar pressure is developed. For determination of field capacity, 0.33 bar pressure is developed, and for determination of wilting point, it is 15 bar. As the difference between this field capacity and wilting point, it gives the depth of waters to be applied. So it gives idea. So this wilting point and field capacity, as field capacity is the upper limit, it shows the upper limit of water in the soil after a free drainage for 2 to 3 days, and wilting point is the lower limit. So as such, the difference of these two, it gives idea regarding the depth, which is useful for irrigation purpose, or which is useful to decide the irrigation scheduling also. So here, in fact, I had carried out, as a part of this case study, I had used 120 observations. Out of these 120 observations, some observations are outlier, means not giving proper results. Those are removed. So 106 parameters details I have collected, and in case of this as a part of specimen, so here only 20 observations are shown. Here you can see water content, bulk density, field capacity, wilting point, electrical conductivity, and then percentage of sand, silt, and clay. For now, coming to statics of the soil parameters, so here already I have told you 106 points observations are there, total 106 points. Here you can see the maximum, minimum, and average figures, values of all these parameters. These are shown graphically also, it is shown. Now, field observations. So all these observations, since last decade I have told you I am working on this. So I have selected this area. It is around 10 hectare area. 10 hectare area means 25 acres. This area in Brahmangao, in Kopargaon region, I have selected. The reason is that there are all facilities for conduction of the practicals are there. At the same time, here the irrigation facilities are there, so variety of crops are taken, different land covers are there in summer season as well as in winter season. So here I have shown some crops related to this, and minimum 4 observations are taken. This is the approximate shape of the field, and then these are the strips which are showing various covers. So this is for grapes garden is there, then here gawa is there, gawa, then sugarcane is there, cucumber is there, then grass is there, then weeds are taken in summer season, and this is the for bajra land. This is shown only for the summer season. For winter season I haven't added the layout, but this is the layout of the field observations. And for taking the observation for each and every you can say crop cover, minimum 4 observations which are realistic for getting the infiltration. So here how the observations are recorded in the field, that can be understood with the help of this type of observation table. So as a part of field observations, we have to record only this time, starting time and end time, then interval, then cumulative time, and then volume added. These 4 parameters, or you can say only 1, 2, and 3. This cumulative time we can determine afterwards also in the lab also. So in the field, we have to record the starting time of the experiment, or you can say observation in the field, and then we have to take the observations at certain intervals. So as we have discussed, in the field we have to adjust the pointer, and then we have to observe the lower down of the water. Then after certain period of time, we have to add the measured amount of water, and we have to record it. So here the observations are generally recorded at 1 minute interval, 2 minutes interval, 3 minutes interval, 5, 10, 15, and last observation should be taken at 30 minutes interval, right? So, but in my practice or in my observations, always I used to take observations at 2 meter intervals, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and 30 minutes interval, right? Because in case of this, it is easy to control. It is easy to control the addition of the amount of water. Sometimes if infiltration rate is more, and if we select 1 minute interval, it is little bit difficult to cope up with the situation, right? And then certain amount of volume is added, and then rest of the things, that is cumulative time, determination of this infiltration rate, then amount of infiltration, that is depth of infiltration, and cumulative depth, this we can calculate in the lab, right? So here we were talking about the constant infiltration rate. We have to carry out the experiment, still the infiltration rate becomes constant. So how one can get idea regarding this constant infiltration rate in the field? So here you can see at this 300 minutes, the amount of water added is 80 ml. For 330 it is 60 ml. After 330, that is for 360, again it is 60, means here it has become constant. Now there is no change in the volume, right? Up to this we have to add the amount of this. Now here you can very easily judge that infiltration rate has become constant, and here we have to stop. So here if you observe the time of commencing and time of the end, so it has started at 9 a.m. stop at 3 p.m. So it has taken 6 hours. It may last for a couple of hours also. So I mean to say that it takes couple of hours. It takes lot of time to become the constant. At the same time, if continuous pores are there, sometime complete for 10 to 12 hours also, we won't get the constant infiltration rate. In that case, the test will get failed, right? Because we cannot continue for 24 hours also, right? So this is regarding the observation table. Now with the help of same observation table, now this is the outcome. This is the plot of infiltration rate versus time. Here infiltration rate is determined in centimeter per hour and then time in terms of minute. So here you can see initially infiltration rate is very high. Afterwards it is becoming less and less and less, and at the end it will become constant. It will become constant. This is the nature of infiltration rate curve. So here again I had shown these two plots. So here you can see this type of plot is there, and this is similar to previous one. This is for infiltration curve for point number 5, which is the Bajra crop. This is the infiltration curve for point number 6. This is also a Bajra crop. So here you can see here initially infiltration rate is high. Then it is reducing and reducing. Afterwards it has become constant, and this constant rate is also more than 5 centimeter per hour. So this is also high in case of Bajra crop. Now for the same land cover, here you can see inflation rate is becoming low and low. Again there is an increase. Again afterwards it is decreasing, again it is increasing and then decreasing. So sometimes in the field this type of situation may arise due to continuous pores, bigger pores, or you can say bigger voids are there. In that case infiltration rate will be suddenly become high, right? And this type of formation will be there. Technically this is called as a neck formation. So you will find this type of neck formation during the observations also. So in that case one should not get disturbed, disappointed that what is happening. No, it is the nature. It is the nature. Still we have to continue the observations in the field. So in this case, if this type of situation is there, sometimes it becomes very difficult to adjust the amount of water also. These are the field problems sometimes. Now this here you can see the infiltration data synthesis for all types of land covers. Here average steady infiltration rate is given in this column, and in this column average cumulative infiltration depth is given. So if you observe this average steady infiltration rate, here it is 0.26, 0.25, again it is more, one nail more. So here the average infiltration rate, it has been observed lowest for grapes, and that too in summer season. For grapes garden, that too in summer season. This is grapes in winter season. With compared to winter, in case of summer season, the average steady infiltration rate is less. So practically if you observe, the rate of infiltration in summer season is 1.5 times the rate of infiltration in winter season. This has been proved by the experiments, right? And then coming to average cumulative infiltration depth, the total amount of water which is infiltrated. So again for grapes in summer it is 4.35. It is the lowest. For others, for rest of the crops, the land covers, it is more. And here if you observe for sugarcane, normally we used to say that large amount of water is required, and same has been proved practically. So here cumulative depth of infiltration is around 46 centimeter in case of sugarcane, and nearer to this gram is there, and then bajra is there. For gram and bajra also, here you can see the cumulative depths are more. There is a reason. Now you may think normally for gram one can say less amount of water is required. Yes, for bajra also less amount of water is required. So normally in case of gram, those who are belonging to farmer family, they might be aware, one maximum 2 waterings are given, or sometimes only 1 watering is given to the crop, this gram. And in case of this bajra also 2 to 3 waterings are given, right? So when we will try to determine the infiltration rate in case of gram, as soil will be very dry soil, and in case of this black cotton soil there will be contraction of the soils, there will be development of the cracks, and due to this the infiltration rate will be also more, and cumulative infiltration depth will be more. That is the reason. So graphically same thing is shown graphically. This is the lowest value for this steady infiltration rate, and this is the highest value for steady infiltration rate. For This is predominant with the help of graph. That's why I have shown it graphically also. So coming to cumulative impression depths, in case of sugarcane, it is the highest. For gram as well as bajra, it is also high. Then computation of model constant. So after observing the infiltration rate in the field, after determination of steady infiltration rate, after determination of cumulative depth of infiltration, I have determined Kushtikov model constants as well as modified Kushtikov model constants for various crop covers. For a same soil, but as crop covers are different, so there will be different constants and there will be different equations. So this type of equations one can develop from the field observed data, right? And then we can find out the infiltration, cumulative infiltration as well as infiltration rate by substituting the time. At any time interval, we can have infiltration rate, we can have cumulative infiltration with the help of such a type of infiltration equation. This is the observation table for modified Kostyakov constant. A, B, and C already determined, and these are the equations for different types of land covers. Then here, cumulative infiltration measured and model estimated comparison is shown for point number 1 and observation point number 2. So for two observations, that is sample, it is shown here. So if we look into this measured, then this is by Kostyakov model and this is by modified Kostyakov. These are the cumulative infiltration. Same thing I have plotted with the help of graph also. Comparison plots of measured versus estimated. So these are the plots of measured cumulative infiltration versus cumulative infiltration by Kostyakov model as well as modified Kostyakov model. So here, if you look into this, point number 1. So for all these measured Kostyakov and modified, these are not matching. Initially, the results are matching. Cumulative infiltration depths are matching, but afterwards there is no relevance. As such, these are not matching. So in case of this point number 1 also measured, so these Kostyakov and modified Kostyakov, these are matching, but they are both are deviating from the measured cumulative infiltration depth. So as such, it is not giving proper results. So if you look into this, point number 47, point number 48, both Kostyakov and modified Kostyakov estimated cumulative infiltrations, these are matching with the measured cumulative infiltration. That's why all the graphs are overlapping here. Now coming to conclusions. Now here I would like to state the conclusions of these field observed data and then modified Kostyakov and Kostyakov estimated. Accurate estimation of infiltration is a key input in watershed management. It plays very important role in planning and design of various water resources projects, including design of dams. In addition, soil infiltration characteristics are helpful for runoff estimation and irrigation management. The study on estimation of infiltration characteristics of vertisoil, that is the clay soil in Kopargaon region, presented here, comprises of measurement of field infiltration using double ring infiltrometer and fitting Kostyakov and modified Kostyakov models to the observed data. The specific conclusions based on results and discussions are summarized below. As graphically, with the help of tables also, I have shown you basic infiltration rate. It varies from 0.15 to 6.40 centimeter per hour. The average steady infiltration rate was observed minimum 0.245. The land with grapes garden maximum is 4.94 for bajra cover. The cumulative infiltration depth was 4.36 centimeter for land with grape cover, and maximum cumulative depth was observed as 45.97 centimeter on land with sugarcane. These are the conclusions of this study. The trends of absolute mean difference between field observed and model estimated cumulative infiltration depth suggests that the Kostyakov and modified Kostyakov models has closer agreement with the field measure data. In turn, we can say that both the models, this can be used for prediction of infiltration rate in the study area, because as the results are matching with the field data, whatever field observations are there, it is properly matching. There is a proper correlation between this. So this Kushtikov model and this modified Kushtikov model, it can be, as it is having closer agreement, it can be used for prediction of the infiltration data in the. So this is the first part. Now moving forwards to this, next part is I have applied artificial neural network to the same study. Aditya sir, am I audible clearly? Hello?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Yeah, because I haven't asked and I haven't stopped. I am continuously explaining.
No, sir.
So I'm okay. Thank you. So moving forward, so I will continue for next 15 to 20 minutes, sir.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Yes. Yeah. Because today is the last day. The delegates are also in the mood of preparation of test also and other things also, validity function also.
Yes, sir.
So coming to this artificial neural network. So as in one of the session, Dr. Magar has given a very nice insights of artificial neural network. So he has talked about artificial neural network, feed-forward neural network, back-forward neural network. At the same time, estimation of mean square error. So all the things he has explained in detail, very detailed. Still then, I shall revise something. So in case of this, while applying artificial neural network, I have applied feed-forward back propagation neural network. So here, under this back propagation neural network, whatever mean square error is there, it is estimated. And again, if there is a deviation with expected and estimated, again, it is sent back. It is sent back. Again, training is given and then it is checked. So this back propagation network is a supervised learning or supervised training network. And normally for water resources study, various types of water resources study, various types of hydrology study, this feed forward back propagation network is used, and same network I have applied for my study. I will not go into detail of this. So as a part of this study, for the same observations, whatever we have discussed regarding field observation as well as modified Kushtikov and Kushtikov model. So here I have applied this ANN only for Kushtikov model, only for Kushtikov model. So as a part of this, these are the three networks, designed and created networks. These are the three networks which I have proposed for my study. ANN1, it is having 4 outputs. So in total here 12 outputs I have considered in my study. Out of this, 8 inputs. Out of these 8 parameters or input parameters for ANN1, I have considered only 4 inputs like moisture content, bulk density, field capacity, and percentage clay percent. So randomly these are selected. Randomly these are selected to study what is the effect of this for prediction of infiltration, whether it is given proper result or not. For ANN2 model, 6 inputs are considered. So moisture content, bulk density, field capacity, electrical intensity, then sand percent and clay percent. So these 6 parameters are considered. And for ANN3, all the 8 inputs are considered. All the 8 inputs are considered. 8 inputs are given. Weightage. And this is the flow chart. This is the flow chart for my study. So in fact, for this ANN model, I have used MATLAB, and there I have prepared, written one program also. Okay. So this is the flow chart. It gives highlights of sequential flow of network training. How I have carried out the work, that highlights are given with the help of this. Now here, directly coming to the output, model estimated and ANN simulated parameters. So here, training is given. So for total 106 observations are used, and for training purpose, normally 70% observations are used, or 70% of the data is normally used for training purpose, and 30% of data is used for testing or validation purpose. So same concept I have used here, as Magar sir has also stated, 70% of the data for training purpose, 30% data for the testing purpose. So here you can see model estimated and ANN simulated parameters. Here, these parameters are shown. Model value for A, parameter A, this is the ANN simulated. I think it is not clearly visible for you. Graphically also I will show you. Then this is the B parameter simulated by ANN B parameter, because A and B parameters we have considered as I am considering only Kostyko model. So only A and B parameter. So this is the parameter A which is estimated by model, Kostyko model, and this is the simulated by this ANN model. This is again Kostyko model, B parameter, and ANN simulated B parameter, total for these 69 observations. Now you can see this is the comparative plot of model estimated value A and you can say ANN simulated value. So this is the plot. So very easily you can see here whether these are matching or little bit deviation is there. So almost these are matching, you can say, because almost the values are same, little bit deviation is there. But here also in case of parameter B, you can see the results are closer with compared to parameter A. In case of this parameter B, results are matching, and you can these plots I have plotted in Excel, and now this is the outcome from ANN itself. This is the plot from ANN itself. So in case of this parameter A, you can see variations are there. At some points variations are more, but most of the points these are showing correlating or these are matching, giving very less difference. In case of this parameter B, this is the plot, right? This is the, okay, one more thing I have forgotten. This is the result from ANN2 model. ANN2 model, so deviations are more. For B also deviations are more. Coming to this ANN3 model, if you see here, for model estimated and ANN predicted values, these are matching, these are showing good correlation. This is the plot from ANN itself. This is the ANN3 model. ANN3 model, similarly, ANN3 model for parameter B, again, there is a very less variation. So from this, one can conclude that ANN3 model, this is giving good results. So here, ANN performance assessment for all the three models is shown. These are the model parameters AB, AB, AB for all the three models, and then these are the assessment parameters which are used to assess the results. Root mean square error is there, mean absolute error, R square, and Nash-Tuffy efficiency, these are shown. So if you look into these results, so here you can see that the values of R square, Nash-Tuffy, these are not appropriate as such in case of ANN1. In case of ANN2, a little bit okay. As such, in case of this ANN3 model, the results are much better, much better. So here if you see, once again in the conclusion I shall explain in detail regarding this. So comparison of cumulative infiltrations. So here for two sample points, point number 3 and point number 4, I have shown the results estimated with the help of model, that is Kostyko. This is the field measure, and this is estimated with the help of Kostyko model, and then this is the ANN simulated for these two models. Graphically also it is shown. So here, if you see here, the blue color, it shows measured, then this is reddish brown color shows Kostyko model, and this is green, this is ANN simulated. So here you can see the measured Kostyko model estimated as well as ANN simulated, these are showing good correlation, almost these are matching. Here also all are matching, these are giving very closer results. Very closer results. So coming to the conclusion, in the second part of the study, the feed forward back propagation ANN was employed for equation of Kostyko infiltration model parameters. Only I have covered Kostyko model, A and B for the Claeswald. Three different ANN models were developed based on various input combinations. These models were named as ANN1, ANN2 and ANN3. The artificial neural network approach was found to be more accurate in predicting acoustico-infiltration model parameters. The ANN architecture developed having 12 neurons in hidden layer gave better results than other two models, that is ANN 3 model. So here you can see the results by this ANN 3 models, which is having 8 inputs, then 12 hidden neurons, and then 2 outcomes. So here inputs are all the you can say soil parameters, and outputs are these 2 constants. So here you can see with the help of this ANN3 model, root mean square, you can see the R square value is closer to unity. Here if you observe, R square value is closer to unity, shows high accordance between estimated and ANN simulated values. Means it is having very good relation between estimated values and ANN simulated value. Similarly, the mean absolute error and root mean square error, which are indicative of error index, are very small, approaching to 0. These values are very small and these are approaching to 0, means giving very good result. The average NASTP efficiency is nearer to 95%. Here if you take the average, it is more than 95%. This indicates very good correlation among estimated and predicted values. The trained ANN model was able to satisfactorily predict the required model parameters. The present study demonstrated the application of ANN approach for prediction of infiltration model parameters and evaluation of infiltration characteristics of clay soil. Hence, the use of soil properties as input here is important. The use of soil properties as input to the ANN so as to get the Costico model parameters is recognized successfully. Costico model can subsequently be employed to get the cumulative infiltration or instantaneous infiltration at any time interval. Thus, the research presents alternative approach for determination of infiltration characteristic, which happens to be cumbersome and time-consuming exercise. So, we won't have to go for any other work. If we are having soil properties for the particular area, substituting those soil properties, putting those for soil properties, one can get the results. So in turn, you can say ANN can be successfully applied for determination of infiltration rate as far as Costico model is concerned, because till that I want to work on modified Costico model also. Now, this is all about my case study which I have carried out on infiltration. Since long back also I am working out rainfall simulator. So here I have fabricated rainfall simulator with the help of drippers. Drippers are used, but as these drippers, you know the flow in the drippers. So I have now stopped working on this rainfall simulator. This is the same thing, rainfall simulator. This is the plot. This is the mobile type of rainfall simulator. And this rainfall simulator, it can be used for determination of infiltration and for determination of runoff also for various studies. So here you can see artificial rain is developed with the help of this rainfall simulator. And here if you observe, the caltrains are there, plastic glasses are kept. So with the help of this, we can find out the infiltration depth, with the this precipitation, depth of the precipitation. And here at this end, at another end, we can determine the runoff also. We can collect the water and then we can find out the runoff. Knowing the precipitation, knowing the runoff, we can find out the infiltration. And now same infiltration, we can check with the help of double ring infiltrometer. And if it is matching, in that case, you can say that, you can conclude that results are okay. So this rainfall simulator is also useful. This is the mobile type of rainfall simulator. And presently I have modified it. Now I have modified it and I am using the sprinklers having the coverage of 1 meter diameter of the area that I am going to use for my experiment. As such, I haven't reached to any conclusion till date due to different constraints. But as a new researchers, they can work on this sort of things also for their research work. Only thing is that a lot of observations are required, consistency in the observations required, because when we used to collect the data. In case of this water resources project, the major constraints are collection of the data. If data is generated by oneself, in that case, one can conclude very accurately whatever results one will get. So here I have tried to measure the runoff also, but till date I haven't reached to any conclusion as such. My work is going on this rainfall simulator, and in the coming time definitely I will come to conclusion. So thank you. This is from my side.
Okay, if participants have any question, they can ask. Sir, can we correlate actual in situ infiltration and model other than ANM? Suppose we use physical based model in model. Can we compare this infiltration?
Yes, in my study, I had compared it with the help of this Kustico model as
Yes.
well as modified Kustico model. Once you know the
Mhm.
parameters, right, you can substitute those parameters in the equation, and as per your required interval,
Yes, sir.
it may be any interval 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, or your interval. You can put it, you can substitute, and then you will get the infiltration, cumulative infiltration, as well as you can find out the infiltration rate also.
Okay, sir.
That I have done. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Participant?
Yes, any question from participants? This is the good research area. One can work on this rainfall simulator also by one or other way. Rest of the models also can be studied as far as infiltration is concerned.
Okay. So I think no question. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
The lecture
Yes,
was
thank
very
you.
informative.
Yes.
We are grateful for the time and effort you took to share your work. Thanks for accepting our invitation. Thank you.
So thank you all the delegates, thank you coordinators, and special thanks to Professor Vaikar sir, because he is very kind enough about me, and always we are associated with each other. Also thank you Dr. Nilawat sir. Once again thanks to Competitive Engineering Department, HOD Dr. LG Patil sir. So thank you one and all. Have a nice day. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So participant, we have small announcement. We have after that we have a small lecture by Dr. M.L. Vaikar. It is a recorded lecture, so we'll just finish it up in 30 or 40 minutes. So please tune with us. Please stand by. I will upload that video. So before starting lecture, I will just give a brief introduction of Dr. M.L. Vaikar sir. Sir is presently working professor and dean. One minute, I will start recording.